All right, to store the objects in a variable. Now, what is the process? And then we'll talk about why do we do it. Tarun, I'm doing much better. Like you can see, the voice is also back. Little bit cough is there, but doctor said it takes 15-20 days for it to go away. So that's okay. But much better. So how do you define a variable that will store a object? So it is going to be the same thing. We are going to use the statement of dim followed by a variable name. So typically what I do if I'm going to store a range, then I name it in such a way the variable. For example, if I'm going to store the range of sales, I'll name my variable as RNG underscore sales so that I remember which variable has what values in it. And as instead of any data types at this point, whether it's going to be a integer or a string, we are going to define them as an object. So this becomes like a range object. So what it means is that the range sales is a variable which will be holding a range object, which may consist of one cell or it may consist of group of cells. Similarly, I can also store a workbook. And over here, you will see we have been using workbooks throughout, but when it comes to declaration and saying that, okay, there is a variable called WKB, which will be storing the object of workbook, it has become a singular. It has become workbook. Can anyone think of why it is workbook over here and not workbooks?
Only one workbook can be stored in one.
Absolutely correct. So just like in a variable, only one value could be stored. In a variable, only one object can be stored. So it has become workbook. And if I wanted a worksheet to be there, so it could be worksheet. That this is how we define it. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the definition, which is exactly the same as a variable. Only thing is, instead of a data type, we are using object names at the end. Now, when it comes to assigning the value, so this is declaring variable to hold object. Over here, we are doing assignment. Now, when you're doing an assignment, another keyword comes into play, because for a normal variable, if I had defined x as an integer, all I had to do is x equal to 100. However, since over here we are assigning an object to a variable, we always have to use the keyword called set, set, set. Set followed by the name of the variable followed by the object that you want to store. For example, this is just an example. Let's say I want to store the entire column of A starting from A2. So I can write something like Excel down, enter. So now onwards, anytime I need to work with this sales range, I can always use RNG sales rather than giving the entire object of A2, range A2 dot end Excel down. But whenever you're doing assignment, keyword set has to be used. Now, what could be the utility of doing such a thing? So remember, I had given you two reports to finish, report 1 and report 2. How many of you were able to do it?
I could do it except one.
Report 1.
Report 1, I could do it, just the sunset part. I couldn't.
Oh,
I've done both.
Average sale for sunset.
I have not done for sunset only.
I think we look up. I mean, I don't know.
No.
I was thinking of something else.
Okay, it's an average if function. So that's okay. So let's say if I have to work on this one, how do we do it? So first of all, I'm going to get the file name from here. So first thing, what should I do? Because I still want to write in the same area where I've been working so far in VBA Gempack MIS workbook. So what should be my first step so that I can work on the other workbook?
Activate.
activate that workbook, right? So I will need the name of that workbook. Hence, I was picking this up. So the workbook's name is VBA class XLSM. Okay, so I'm going to activate this workbooks. Name of the workbook dot activate. Next step should be what? So in order to work with these values of total sales, average sales, total transaction, average sales, lowest sales, highest sales, where is the data kept?
In raw data sheet.
Raw data.
In raw data
The
sheet.
first sheet, yeah.
So every information, the information that you want to get is from raw data sheet. All right. So what should we do next? We should activate the raw data sheet. Correct? Now, if you look at the questions that I've put over here, and if you look at this raw data sheet, which are the columns on which I'm working?
Sales and
I
product.
can do.
Sales
Product.
and product. So I need sales and I need product. Do I need sales multiple times or only one time?
Only one time.
Multiple times.
Multiple times.
Multiple times,
Yeah, multiple
right?
times.
Because I
Yeah,
want to do
sorry.
total of
Mhm.
sales, I want to
Total
do
average,
average of
yeah.
sales. So just like how you're using a value multiple times in your program and you choose to put it in a variable and use a variable, anytime you see in your program there is a particular range or a particular table which will be called upon again and again in various calculations, it's better to save it in a variable. Why? Because then you just have to refer to it with the name of the variable rather than writing the entire object again and again.
Yes,
Okay,
we were
you-
looking. Yeah, I was looking for it only. Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise it becomes very big. You have to give the name of the workbook, you have to give the name of the worksheet, then you're talking about range. And writing this again and again, or even copy pasting it again and again, takes a lot of effort. So
Yeah.
we will, once we have activated it, we will pick up the sales column, and in the same one, I can put the product column as range. Is this clear why I'm doing this? Even though for product, I might not need it, but since we are doing for one, we'll do for both. Then we have to use the keyword set, RNG sales equal to range. What is the starting cell? Which is the starting cell?
I4.
I4.
Okay.
IA.
No, sorry. I was looking at table. I4 to I.
I4 till the end,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I4 to I212.
Yeah.
No, not 212 anymore. I had taught you how to pick dynamic. So it should
Yes.
not be 212.
Yeah.
So it
I4
should be
Excel down.
I2, comma, range.
Comma range.
Oh, sorry, 4, not 2. I4, comma, range. I4 dot end Excel down,
Yes.
and that's it. Correct?
Yes.
Same thing for product. Which column is product?
E column.
E. So all I have to do is change this to E.
E4. Yes.
So far, so good for everyone.
Yes.
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 Anything that you're not able to understand, which I wrote, all clear, right?
Yes. All clear.
Okay. So now, once I have stored the ranges on which I want to work, where are you going to put the result?
In report one.
On the report one.
Report one. So which sheet should be active now? Should it be raw data from where you pick the data, or should it be report one?
Report
Report
one.
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 So it should be report one. So worksheets, report one dot activate. Okay. Now in report one, where do we want to put the value? In cell C5,
C5.
5.
right? So this
Yes.
becomes range C5. Now I want to use a function of sum, which is not a function of VBA. So which keyword should I use?
Worksheets function.
Worksheet function dot sum. And what should I write inside it? Sum of what I want? Sales. So
Sales.
rather than writing the range I4, comma range I4 dot end, I will simply write range sales.
Okay.
All right. Similarly, what is the next thing I need? I need the average sales. So I can make this an average function. And I can make this as C6. Then I need total sales. This is C7. What is it? Total sales, total transactions. So this is a count function.
Yes.
And then C8, average sales for product sunset. So I want average sales, but based on a condition. The condition is the product has to be sunset. So
Yeah.
which function do we use?
Average if. Average if.
We use average if, right? So if I have to take you through average if, what it has, it's got a range. Range is what? It is a set of cells on which you will check the criteria. Criteria is a condition which you are looking for.
Which is
And
sunset.
average range is the range on which you will find the average function. So which column will be the range column?
In the raw data, we need to
In
go
the
to
raw data, product,
product column.
right? And what is the criteria that you're looking in the product column?
Sunset.
Sunset. Now in the product column, when I find sunset, whose average do I need to find out? Because I can't find
Sales.
average of a product.
Sales.
So that becomes my average range. So same thing will implement in the backend. So this is not a sum, it becomes average if. First is the range on which I want to check the criteria, which is product column. What is the criteria? It's sunset. And then whose average am I looking for? Average of sales. Simple,
Very simple, Radha.
right? No VLOOKUP can be applied because VLOOKUP can only pull one value at a time. And this does not require one value. It is summarization.
Mhm.
Then C9 is the minimum. So I'll put a min. And same thing. This is going to be max.
Maximum.
That's it. But now that you have learned how to use a variable, how to store the object in a variable between your code and my code, you will understand this is much more easier to write and neater to look at also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Otherwise, in your case, it's not going to work. It will work, but your codes are very long because you have fitted in this entire thing again and again wherever there's RNG sales written in my program.
True.
And another thing, another benefit that you get of doing it, that activating the sheets become easier. Once you've activated the raw data, you stored in the variable. Now the value of that variable is not going to change if you activate another sheet. So even that you will see that it would have become easier for you to write.
Yes, yes. So no confusions now.
No confusions are there. All right. Questions? Naveen, any question? Yes, Tarun.
Why we have not marked a dollar sign with the C5, C6, C7? With the cell
Why do I
reference?
need dollar signs? I don't use dollar sign in range.
No, not for range. I am asking for this specific sentence. We are referring to a particular product. Because C5 is a solution. It is not on range, no?
C5 is a range. Why it's not a range? Range could be one cell, range could be multiple cells, right? Both is defined as a range.
But here we are taking it as a single cell. No? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, but that's how you write when you are going to assign a value in a cell, right? Why a dollar sign should be here? You are getting confused between two things. There are two things, right? One is our objects. In the name of our object, when you're using a range object, when you're referring to the cell like C5, or if you're referring to a range of cells, like over here, nowhere a dollar sign would come up, right? Nowhere a dollar sign is there. Now, where I used a dollar sign, over here also, if you look, nowhere I've put a dollar sign. Now, where I used a dollar sign was when we were assigning a formula to a range of cells. and you're assigning a formula, because dollar signs relevance is in Excel, not in VBA. So what happens, even though this is a text, when it goes to Excel, since there is an equal to sign which it starts with, it behaves like a Excel function or a formula. And that's where dollar sign can also have a relevance. Okay, but in the name of the object, whether it's a single object or it's a group of objects or in the range, there's no dollar signs in it.
Fine. Okay.
Okay. All right. How many of you were able to do report number 3?
Not correctly.
Not correctly. Let's do it together then.
Meanwhile, just I will take 10 seconds.
Hmm.
I mean, like I was doing report 1 only. I have confused.
Hmm.
Let me just. Can I say
That's
my-
fine.
Ishani, I did. I think I am correct.
You did it correct or no?
I don't know. If you want to
know.
check, then I will share
All
with
right. Sure. 1 second. Shweta, will you finish first?
Yes, yes. Just not even 10 seconds.
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask why this was not screen. Yeah. So
Hmm.
code. Yes. So why this one was not working? What is the problem here?
Did you define the product and sales in Excel?
It's already defined in your file. It's already defined.
It's already defined. Okay. I'll tell you, go back.
Yes.
It is turned red in color.
Yes.
Remove the quotes because of the double quotes. Double
Yes,
quotes are
sunset.
starting, the double quotes are ending. Now, if you want the double quotes to be taken as a text, put double quotes around the double quotes. So 3 double quotes together, not this one, around the sunset.
Okay. So you want here.
The double quotes inside double quotes. One more. And same thing for the ending one also.
That's
Correct.
okay.
Come out. Let's see. Still red. Why is it still red?
Because
See,
the entire should be considered as text, right?
it is, but the problem is of the double quotes. You're closing it, right? Remove one. I don't remember. I
Should be
got it.
single
I
Ishani, it
think
was
two.
working for
I
me
think
as
two.
well. I put it two.
Two is correct, right? Not 3, 2. Now it's going to work.
Yeah, it's working. That just
So
this
closing of
I
the
was
double
using
bracket is a
single.
problem.
I was using single quote only around sunset. I think that's.
That can't work.
no, that was not working. That is why I asked this. Like it's a very minor problem. And still, I asked because I was
Yeah. Because of the quotes are starting and unknowingly you are ending the quotes on the sunset. And then you're starting after the sunset. So sunset in the middle is outside doing nothing, no connection to anything. That was a problem.
understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Who else wants to share the screen?
I'm
Okay.
wait, Ishani.
And I have who has sent me the quotes? Manoj. Formula, sum, max, min. I know you are using formulas, but honestly, we don't use formulas. Formulas make our file heavier. So have the habit of using worksheet function. All right. Even if you're not.
Both. I was just checking both. It was just for my practice.
Yeah, that's for your practice. Like Manoj, I can see your way of writing is mostly now you're using formula a lot. Wow. Whose screen am I looking at?
Vivek.
Vivek. Okay, you already know programming, hence the design
Sorry.
style. Last row worksheet, raw data. This endal Excel up the row and report 3. Range this to this clear content. Okay, raw data range is last row dot copy. Paste special values into report 3 range A5. Remove duplicates. Then selection A column -1 and correct. Count for right, correct. It's just the way of writing is a little different. of last row. This is fine. Only the last row problem where you have written copy all data from product column E3 to E9 ampersand last row. I think 9 should not be there, right?
I don't know, but it's
No,
working fine. So
that
let's
ideally,
check.
because it's going to 9 something. It's copy pasting to 9 something. It's copy pasting a lot of this is fine. But if you do step by step, just do debugging F8 one by one.
Yeah, sure.
And this you should also delete through the program, ideally.
Sorry.
This deletion that you did right now by hand, ideally, this also should be a part of your program. That every time you run,
Mm-hmm.
right, if the number of products have changed, new set of
Yeah.
products should come and
Yeah, I
transact.
did. I did.
Yeah. Clear content, so you have done it. How to put array function into a group. So that is it. Okay, hold on, Gunjan.
So this is the copy the whole.
Go down. Scroll down without touching any cell. See, you see what I was saying?
Mhm.
It is copying more than required. And why is that? Because of your E3 to E9 ampersand last row. So whatever is the
Yeah.
last row value, it has concatenated with 9. So this is 9 something row that it would end up at.
Okay.
Okay. So just remove the 9 from there. That's it.
Okay. So
Other
other
than that, I
ways,
think it's fine.
fine. Okay.
Right. Rest of it is
So
fine.
coding style, you talk about the coding style. What mean that? I can't
I
understand.
don't put so many green lines in between. I rather, I try to. I
No,
have the
I
habit
just
of
follow your
tabbing.
steps. You told me that you just
Put comments.
yes, could put comments
Yes.
every step
Yes.
or so. I just follow that because I'm
Yeah.
not starting when I start this coding. So I'm not putting. I'm just code and it's
All
become
right.
like a hodgepodge.
Yeah. That's okay. All right. Good. It's good.
Okay.
Let me do it for others so that it spills to
So
the other cells as well.
okay. I will stop this screen. So,
Good, Vivek.
thank you.
Gunjan, tell me one thing. You guys can use unique in Excel. Are you able to use unique function in
Yes,
Excel?
we do have in Office 365.
You have 365 and you are able to use unique over there. But over here, it's coming as spill.
No, it's just pasting the value on the first cell. If we use the like range something dot formula is quote unique, it is it puts the value on the first cell only. It don't spill the unique array.
Okay, let me look into that. You can't copy these things.
And
Hold on.
Ishani,
Yeah.
can you please explain the tab forecast and analyze?
Which forecast and analyze?
It's in, I think, in data.
Oh, in Excel you're talking about.
Yes. Because
I can't take you back to Excel till I finish VBA.
okay.
There was.
I want to excited, so I don't know about that.
Sure.
Functions.
So I think we have enough time in VBA. I think we should
Okay.
have one extra class. We can explore it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So what is the step number 1 for doing report 3? For people who have not done it, let's do it together. What should be the step number 1? Again, I'm going to ask you what you need to do is Vivek, stop.
Sorry, Vivek. Yeah.
Stop participant share. So what I'm going to ask you to do, like I've been asking again and again, think in Excel, all the steps that how you would have done it in Excel, and then you convert into VBA. So in order to work on report 3, first I need to get the unique product list. So how will I get the unique product list? What are the steps you will take in Excel?
Copy product column and remove duplicate.
Column of product from raw data, correct?
Yeah, and then
Right.
remove
And
duplicate.
then remove duplicate.
And then
Yeah.
remove duplicate. Okay, so while we are in raw data, what all we are doing, we are copying it, the product, and to get the answers of report 3, like total sales and total transaction, we also need one column from here, which is sales column, right?
Yeah, right.
So let's do two things.
Right.
First, let's activate our raw data. And when we have activated our raw data, let's take care of two things simultaneously. So we'll paste this. I'm pasting this as it is to activate the right workbook, right worksheet. I'm going to define this range sales, and I'll copy this as well. So far, so good. So I've defined as a variable sales range and kept the variable over there. And then I have to copy the column of product. Now, when I want to copy the column of product, does it make sense? I went for advanced filtering method for unique values. But advanced filtering, it will still have a lot of cells which are hidden, Gunjan. And the only challenge is when you're trying to copy paste the total sales and total that, it will be copy pasted in the hidden cells as well, isn't it? It just won't work for the visible cells when you're doing a copy paste. Or when you're moving from one cell to another cell. So that's the reason I would not go for an advanced filtering. All right. But yes, to get a unique list, you can use advanced filtering as well. So once this is there, now tell me one thing. In order to copy paste a column from one sheet to another sheet, do I need to save it as a variable or no?
We are not using again.
One time,
No.
one time doesn't require.
Exactly right. One time, so you had to write anyways for a setting also. So if you are going to use it one time, doesn't make sense to create variables for it. So what we are going to do is just pick up the variable, the range. And where do you want to paste it?
In report 3.
In report 3. So when you give space dot copy, and when you give space, you have to give destination. So what should be my destination?
Report 3.
Report 3.
Worksheets.
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 Report 3. And which cell? Dot range.
Bracket.
Give any cell.
A3.
A3. Okay. A3. And I'm going to do one more thing. Instead of picking from E4, I'll pick from E3 so that I get the header as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is done. So I have done two things. One, I have copied and stored not copied, I've stored the range of sales in the variable called RNG sales to be used further. And second thing, I copied column E and pasted in report 3, A5, A3. So what is the next step? So if I run F5, this has happened. What is the next step? So entire row is there.
To remove duplicates.
To remove duplicates. You know the syntax for removing duplicate?
No.
So which sheet are we removing duplicates?
Report 3.
So what should be my next step? So all my working now is going to be all the time in
Report 3. Yeah, we need to activate.
Exactly. Activate report 3 now. Okay, now done. Now my data is kept from A3.
A3 Excel down.
A3 Excel down. And since this is only one single column, I can also do this thing to make my work even shorter. Dot current region.
Yeah, selecting all.
Right? And then what are we doing? We are doing remove duplicates.
Oh.
And then columns. There's only one column. So equal to 1. Header. Excel, yes. Yes, I have a header. Correct?
If we need to select more than one column, then
over here in columns.
yeah. In Excel, when we are removing.
Right. We can.
Yeah.
think you can put commas, not sure. We can experiment. We
Okay.
can take a table and experiment on it. Okay, I think you should be, but if you put a comma, then it goes to the other way. I'll have to see how you specify more columns. Okay, so this is something I'll tell you. So current region and remove duplicates. Once now if I run F5, so it copied, it pasted, and it removed duplicate. What's the next step that I need?
Shani, why did we
Abhishek.
write current
You'll-
region?
Why did I write current region? Because I had to pick the entire column, right? And since there was only one column, so I just, instead of, I could have written it in two ways. I could have written it as range A3, comma, range A3, because I want to dynamically select it, right?
Index
And Excel
Excel
down,
down.
dot remove duplicate. So you see, it just became very long. Since there was only one column, if I do current region, it will pick only one column. It can't pick a table anyways.
Okay, got it.
All right. So once this is done, now what should be my next step? Give headers in B3 and C3. How are we going to give headers in B3 and C3? Let me ask few people, please. Girish, can you help? If I have to put in cell B3 a heading called total sales, how will I do it?
And the same way we did for A, we can get that.
I did not put for A, that's why I'm asking. A got automatically because of the remove duplicates. So how will I put in A B3 the value called total sales?
Oh. So do we need to, I think we need to select B3 as range.
Yes, so it will become range B3, right? Like this.
Yeah.
You'll have to write it over here. Where am I getting stuck? Oh. Range B3 equal to
Inverted commas.
inverted comma total sales.
Sales.
Correct. And now if I wanted to put in C3 count of sale or total transaction, I'll put it over here. Right? Now this is done. Now think about it. Whatever calculation I'm doing for Yanaki for total sales and the count of sales, I'll have to repeat it for Sunshine, Sunspot, Regal, Sunsets, Belen, Carlota, Quad, and so on and so forth. Correct?
Correct.
So if I want to repeat something, what should I use?
Loop.
Loop.
Or loop.
Now, which loop should I use over here?
Next loop.
For next.
For next.
So for next, if you want to go for a for next loop, you need to know for how many times you want to run. So how will you know for how many times I have to run it?
Yeah.
Do
I think
until.
do until. Go.
You can use a do until, but let's answer this question. Let's say I want to use a for loop. So how
Give
will
a count of
Count
all
of products.
number of products?
We'll
How
do
will
that.
how will
We'll
I
do that
count the
till-
number of products?
So we'll do that till we found blank in A cell. A
So-
column.
So from where should I start?
So we'll start from A4 and we'll do till there is a blank cell, and that is A14.
So can I say X is equal to range of A4, comma, range A4 dot end. Just hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry about this. All right. So dot end XL down and dot count. What will this line do?
Count the entire.
To count the entire column.
Count from A4 the number of cells that we have. So from A4, it is going to select all this and count. So it will give you 10 as an answer. So you know you have to run it 10 times. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So now I can use a for loop since I know how many times. So I can put I as integer. And for I is equal to 1 to 10.
1 to 10.
Now where I want to populate in cell B4. So how will we write it? Range B, correct? Remember, I have to keep on iterating. It has to be 4, then it has to be 5, then it has to be 6. So I'll use an ampersand and I can make it I plus 3. So this makes it B4. And
Shani, why
this
we
has
use
to be
1 to 10?
Yes, I was
because,
also
oh,
asking.
not 1 to 10, 1 to
1 to
x.
x.
Yeah, 1 to X.
Sorry, good correction. 1 to x. And over here, now what we should write, we can put a worksheet function. Which worksheet function do we want? It is going to be SUMIF. Not sum, it is a SUMIF function. Because there is a condition, right? The product is a condition over here. So SUMIF requires same thing as an average if. It requires the range on which you're checking the condition. Oh, now that I think of it, we should have saved the range. I need to give the product column. In SUMIF, it is the range criteria and the sum range, just like how you have your average if. So because of that, we would require not just copy paste, we would require this person. And since I've already named this entire thing, I just have to write RNG product. And I need to define it now. Okay. So I had to define, and why I have to name and store it, because I'm going to use it in my sum if. I forgot. Sum if would require it. So RNG product, comma. Now where is the criteria? From where should I pick the criteria?
A column.
A column. So we can write it in the same manner. Range A ampersand I plus 3 is my criteria. And once I find it, whose average do I want to do? RNG sales. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. Ishani, when you're setting the range product, don't we need to do it from E4?
Oh,
Because
this one.
it's a heading product.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. It won't find anything.
Okay.
It's a sum if, right? So even if you start from a header, it won't do anything. It's going to be fine. All right. And we can copy this entire thing, paste it again. And if that is going in column C3, we have to find the total transaction. So this becomes C, worksheet function. Now I need a simple count. And in count, you know that we don't have to give anything. So we will just say the product and the range. That's it. Count if, sorry, not count. My bad. Count if. So you have to give the range and the criteria. That's it. And then next time. Okay. Now, sometimes when our lines become too long and I have to go back and forth, left and right, it becomes tedious to read your program. So what you can do is give a space, put an underscore and press enter. So that what happens that you are able to read the line properly without moving left and right. And because of the space and underscore, it is still reading it as one single line and not two different lines. So if we run this thing, F5, populated, then little bit of more coding for matching up. But formatting, I would always suggest record and learn it. Not learn it, record and use it. Don't learn anything in formatting, too much work. So that's it, report 3 is ready. So what is happening when you are storing a variable in a when you're storing an object in a variable, the main purpose of storing an object in a variable is if I need to use that object at multiple times, it becomes more convenient to store it in a variable and use the name of the variable, right? How do you store it? Very simple. We are going to first declare a variable. When you're declaring, still use a keyword dim. And when you put an as, instead of a data type, you tell the variable in which, the object name in which you're going to store it. It could be a range, it could be a workbook, it could be a worksheet. We are going to use pivots and we are going to use charts. So those also are the objects in which you can store. Once that is done, then you have to use the keyword set, use the name of the variable, and then assign the object to it. Kshitij, clear?
Yes, Ishan. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, I was on
Shani,
mute.
two things over here
Yes.
regarding this object storing. Workbook is fine because it does not affect the location of the location of a cell. But when it comes to range, does that referencing also comes into picture? By that I mean, is there if I use the range as an object and use a formula in it and go down one by one from each cell, will it affect the range as well? Like the way in the
Okay,
formula?
let me understand it correctly. Instead of you're saying going one by one in the cell, if I assign it as a formula and do it.
Yes.
So if I had done something like range of this is B4 is to B ampersand. This would be what? 4 plus x plus 4 plus x, right? It'll go to 4 plus x, right? Not 14, minus 1 times x minus 1. So 3 plus x, right? And then you're saying dot formula is equal to double quotes equal to, let's say, sum if, and then in sum if we have to give the range. So now here's the thing.
We cannot give the.
How will you make it dynamic?
We cannot give the variable over here, right? Because
No,
it's a text.
variables are not
Yes.
related. The only way you can do it is you name the range in Excel through VBA, but name the range. But again and again, you have to remember that you have to delete that every time the program runs. Same range, you can't name it again and again.
No, what I'm saying is, for example, in this loop, you go to cell C3, for instance, then you go to C4, then you go to C5. Will that going to affect the range of object that we have given? Will it also move down like the way it normally?
The RNG product that you're talking about?
Yes, yes.
No, it's stagnant. It's fixed.
Okay.
It is not changing.
Okay. So
Okay, this is not changing.
Okay, got it.
So Gunjan, what you've given the word product and sales. So product and sales I can use in my formula if I've named it in Excel. Because these variable has no relevance in Excel and Excel variables have no relevance in VBA. Right? But again and again, if you're running the program and your ranges are going to differ, let's say they were not 200, now they're 300 lines or they are 1000 lines, then how do you have to keep changing the names also again and again. You understand? Yes, Ankita?
But Ishan, this is a defined name manager. You put down the name of product and sales.
But which column are you taking it?
It is already defined in the name manager in your sheet.
in my sheet, that's okay, but doesn't mean you have to use it. What my question is, this is defined, that's okay. But the whole thing that we were talking about, the reason we'll use VBA is when our number of records keep on changing, right? Let's say new products have been added or some products have been removed. This is a new set of record. So do you think that name manager, whatever I have named, would be useful anymore?
No,
No.
that's why I have provided you the last row is dot row count. So with that, we can find the column, what is the last cell of that column, and we can assign the range of that report. Last row is your full, rather than dot count, I
No,
used dot row.
no. But product and sales, how will you work with these ranges of product and sales? Are the values changing of product and sales?
Yes, it is.
How?
I have another variable, last row 2, which is specifically designed for the row data report. Rather than in my VBA code, it is not I3 to I212, which is the name manager defined range. It is I3 colon I and ampersand I range 2 I last row 2. With last row is the count of the last cell in the report, raw data report.
Send it once.
Yeah, sure.
It's easier to see and understand than do anything else. Okay, while Gunjan is sending me, Ankita, you had a question?
Yes, Ashani. So I was actually out of curiosity trying to, run a macro and see how macro do the same functions like we do. So it was using dot formula R1C1. So what is this R1 and C1?
R1, C1 is basically, there are two ways of defining Excel cells. We don't use R1, C1, but your A1 cell is R1, C1, row 1, column 1. Okay, so when they record macros, sometimes the formulas, all the formulas that it will record will be in the format of R1, C1, first row, first column. This is your second row. So this is R2, C1, R3, C1, and so on and so forth.
But it was so weird because if it was picking sales from I, then why it is using R1, C1? I was also confused.
So there is a setting, in fact, but I don't know if you've ever seen that, but there is a setting, I don't know where exactly it is, in which you can decide that how should your formulas appear. Should it be in R1, C1 or should it be A1, A2? So we typically work with A1, A2 kind of a thing. See, R1, C1 reference type.
Oh, okay. I think this is right.
Yeah, we typically don't use it because it's super confusing.
Okay, thank you. I'll change it.
All right. Last data, this workbook dot sheets raw data dot I3 dot n dot this. So last data is single sales as range data type, sales at sales. And yeah, that's what I said, right? So Gunjan, you're doing what exactly I was saying. So I was saying that if you have to use your variable names of Excel, every time you need to make sure they're resetting, right? But in this case, if I'm not using the variables of Excel, I don't have to do that resetting again and again. Second thing is, I know you guys are using a lot of formula, but typically try to avoid using formulas. Or even if you have to use formula, you have to do a paste special value on top of it. Because as it is with the formulas, the files are heavier. The reason we are doing this VBA is for making a quick calculation, nice and easy, a smaller file. If nobody is asking for you to leave the formula, ideally remove the formulas and keep it. But if you're using formulas, you have to make sure you're writing in terms of Excel. So Excel cannot use these variables that you're defining, and Excel variables cannot be used in VBA. Both would not be there. All right. So Gunjan and Faisal, I hope your doubts are clear.
Yes, Ishani, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Ishana.
So this is done. The only thing is, now once you've ran this thing, let's say the new report that comes to us has lesser number of products. So it may not go all the way to A13. So once again, when it runs, so what it might do, it might populate this much of the area, but everything below 10 is still there. So how will you tackle this problem? It's not necessary, right, that all the time same number of products would be there in this report. So So if it's more, it's okay because it will overwrite. But what if it's less? Then what? Then what should we do?
Delete first, clear off.
We have to delete. How will you delete it? Where should I write this deletion?
After the loop.
After the loop. No. Then whatever work you've done, that will delete.
Before the loop.
Before the loop. Before and once you've activated report 3, correct?
Yes.
Over here, right? Right. So as soon as you do it, and you can check if range A3. So you'll have to write an if function. So if range A3 is not empty. Empty is a keyword. Then what I want to do, range A3, I want to delete everything around A3. A3, B3, C3, everything I want to delete. How do I do that?
We can use current region.
Very good. So we can use current region, A3 dot current region and dot
Clear.
delete, or you can use clear content. Either way. End this. So if it's not empty, nothing will happen. But if it's not empty, it will delete. If it's empty, nothing will happen. So next time when I run it, F5, what did I do? I've deleted, so there's nothing called remove duplicate anymore. Good job. Wrong placement. So I'll put this line of copying and pasting after this deletion part. F5. Now it will work. Okay. Any questions? Now is it making sense? Whatever we've learned, we are able to apply. How is it working? Is it making sense now? I know initially, a lot of you were feeling very uncomfortable. Imran, is it making sense? And
Yes, Ishan.
Shahudin.
Shujauddin.
Yes, Shujauddin.
Yes, it is a bit fine now.
Now it's fine. Now you're able to connect the dots. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Sitaram, Shyam, I don't know if you've been able to cope up. Vikash, both of you have been super quiet today.
Ishani,
all good?
Yes, Ishani, all good.
I'm not feeling well. I have pain in my throat.
Not good, Simple. My father was making fun of me. He was saying, thank God you have online classes right now. So imagine because of your stubbornness, how many people you would have infected by now. Because I was in denial, I don't have corona. And I was happily taking classes. So I hope you are fine. Not that I want you to have corona, but hopefully it's fine. Okay, so that's it. Let's start with the test then. So this time test is a little different. It is not one word. I cannot do MCQ for a very long time. But this is not very difficult one. They're just 10 questions in 30 minutes. Some of the questions should take you less than 30 seconds to answer. Some may take more time. So what I want you to do is you are going to have a Word or a notepad. Please name your work, your files properly. I think the biggest challenge is when it comes to me, it takes Vinay a lot of effort to tell me that this is for this person. And in case it's not missed, then I have to go back, then he has to go back, and so too much work. So if you name your files with your name, proper names, first name and last name, it becomes easier for all of us to look at the files. All right, so use a WordPad or a notepad, name them properly with your name. Otherwise, this time I'm not going to grade it. Too much effort to be done. And email to be Genpack. These are the questions that you have. If you want, I can keep these questions on, or if you want, you can download it from the LMS, whichever you find it comfortable. So I'm going to enable it in LMS as also. It should take you 30 minutes or less. Okay, so it's enabled in LMS also. It's named as assessment 10th Jan. So just write 1, 2, 3. You don't have to write the question, just 1, what is your answer? 2, what is your answer? And so on and so forth.
Okay, Shani.
Okay, it's basically
Is this a descriptive test?
yes, but it's not like you don't have to write 5, 6 lines. It's not more than a line, 2 lines that you have to write.
One-liner answers.
One-liner answers.
Is it pasted in?
I can, if you want, I can paste it over here in the chat window as well. You can copy this in the Word and start working. But it should not take you more than 30 minutes. I don't want long copy paste sentences. Just one-liner. All right, so it's 3:30. By 4 o'clock, submissions should be done.